I always believed that marriage was rooted in trust, the quiet, steady kind that grows over years of shared routines and small sacrifices. When I married Claire, I thought I had found someone who valued loyalty as much as I did. For a long time, our life seemed perfectly ordinary in the most comforting way. Morning coffee, occasional date nights, conversations about the future. But beneath that calm exterior, something darker was brewing, and I didn't notice it. Things started to change when Claire began a new job under a man named Andrew, a CEO known for his charm that often edged into arrogance. At first, she came home excited, sharing how much he appreciated her work. I took it as encouragement, nothing more, but subtle cracks began to appear. Late-night meetings without explanation, secrecy around her phone, a defensiveness that didn't fit with the woman I knew. Whenever I asked if something was wrong, she dismissed it with a polite, tired smile that never reached her eyes. One evening, I caught her staring at her reflection longer than usual before heading out to another work dinner. She was wearing perfume she hadn't touched in years. Something inside me twisted. I asked her again if everything was fine. That time, she snapped at me, her irritation sounding rehearsed, as though she had already prepared excuses I hadn't yet questioned. That was the moment my suspicion turned into fear, though I still tried to convince myself she wouldn't betray me. The truth came a week later, not through confession, but through carelessness. Claire left her phone on the kitchen counter while she showered, and a message from Andrew appeared. "Tell him yet we can't hide forever." My heart pounded. I didn't open it. I didn't need to. The message alone shattered the image I had of her. When she emerged from the bathroom, wrapped in a towel and humming softly, I felt something inside me break. That night, I confronted her. At first, she denied everything, twisting her words with a confidence that could have fooled anyone desperate to believe. But when I mentioned Andrew's message, the color drained from her face. She sat down, trembling, and admitted the truth. She had been having an affair for months, and she thought she might be pregnant. She hadn't told Andrew yet. She wanted to speak to me first. The room felt suffocating as I listened to the life we had built begin to crumble. Then came the part that stunned me beyond the betrayal itself. She said she hoped I would show compassion and help raise the child because, in her words, we're still a team. She spoke of stability, responsibility, and love being bigger than mistakes. I barely recognized the woman in front of me. There was no remorse in her voice, only expectation. She assumed I would stay, pretend nothing had happened, and raise her boss's child as if it were mine. For days, I drifted in disbelief. I replayed every memory, searching for signs I had missed. I wondered when her love had shifted, when I had become a placeholder rather than a partner. But beneath the heartbreak, clarity began to emerge. I realized that staying would mean abandoning my self-respect. It would mean living a lie she expected me to uphold. And if I accepted her terms once, she would never value my loyalty again. So, I did what I had to do. I met with an attorney, filed for divorce, and braced myself for the emotional fallout. When I handed her the papers, Claire panicked, insisting I was overreacting, that families survive worse. But her fear wasn't about losing me. It was about losing the stability she relied on while living a double life. She begged, promised, and cried, but none of it erased the truth. Her choices had consequences, and this time I wouldn't shield her from them. The day I walked away, I felt both the weight of loss and the lightness of freedom. The marriage I mourned had existed only in my imagination, not in the reality she created. Healing took time, with moments of anger, sadness, and confusion swirling together. But with each passing week, I understood that leaving wasn't abandonment, it was self-preservation. I refused to become the man raising the child of his wife's affair while pretending everything was normal. As I moved forward, I began reclaiming the parts of myself I had quietly surrendered during the marriage. I reconnected with friends I had drifted from, picked up old hobbies, and started therapy to untangle the emotional knots her betrayal had left behind. Gradually, I discovered that my worth never depended on her loyalty or approval. The trust one thought she had destroyed wasn't gone. It simply needed to be redirected back to myself. Months later, when I learned that Andrew wanted nothing to do with Claire or the baby, I felt no satisfaction, only closure. Her choices were hers to carry, and I finally carried none of the weight.